This month we have gotten real. We've gotten real about life's lessons. We've gotten real about relationships. We have gotten real about life itself. And we're going to bring the theme to a close this Sunday by getting real about what personal transformation means to us. There's a beautiful passage in Corinthians 5:17 that says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come." The old has passed away. The new, behold, the new has come. This is a really profound idea, and this whole talk this morning, and I'm just completely blown away by the music and the readings that I have no idea what they're going to really be singing and talking about, all feed in together about this change, about this transformation in life, because change brings transformation, stagnation does not. So the old has passed away and behold the new has come. What does that really mean? Actually really mean deep down. It means that things will change. You can count on that. You may be sitting there thinking, transformation is what I want. I want to transform, right? But I'll pass on the change part. Too much goes on with that change, thank you very much. Just give me the transformation. I like things the way they are in my little familiar little place here. Well, my friends, I'm afraid that life just doesn't work that way. That's because to initiate change or not, whether we want to initiate change or not, is going to happen. Life is ever creating, and in order to create, it doesn't change because it's pure consciousness, pure energy. It doesn't change, but it becomes more of itself. We, on the other hand, we've been given this free will, so we change in order to reconnect with that indwelling consciousness, the infinite consciousness, because there's only one. Whether we like it or not, life is ever creating, ever moving forward. It never moves backwards, remember that. Moving forward. And ever presenting us with opportunities for personal transformation and growth, which require change. If you recall, I told you in the very first series of this talk, so this last one is really a very deep and meaningful talk. And it's not just a talk. These talks are ways to live life. I do the talks, and I'm just so thrilled because they impact me in ways I never would have been impacted before, and that's why I share them with you. I share them with you in community because I live. I truly do. I live for community. I always have, I always will. I'm so grateful that all of you have joined us today. So our theme this month is Let's Get Real. And this morning we've summed it up with a phrase that I'm sure that you have heard many times and might even have said it. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Maybe we've heard that. So I want us to look at two things this morning from that phrase alone. The inevitability of change and the growth that comes from it, if we allow it. We don't have to allow it, if we allow it. First, change is inevitable. There's another similar saying about change, which I'm sure you've also heard. The only thing certain in life is change. It's true, whether you like it or not. It's true. Change is going to occur in our lives. Change we initiate, and change we think we don't want. Change we label good, and change we label bad. Some of us embrace the good changes, or changes we consciously initiate ourselves, while others of us fear any change, whether it is self-initiated or we just view it as good. Even that, we don't really like change. Some of us. And I'd venture to say that a lot of us have fear and trepidation over change, especially the change we don't initiate, or change that's brought on by a crisis, which we will all go through. That's okay. And you'll find out at the end of this talk why is really all of it is okay. What I want to do this morning is get real about personal transformation, all of that personal transformation business, by laying a foundation for moving through change. Any kind of change, any kind of change. Whatever the type, whatever the magnitude, whether it be losing a job or getting a new job, getting divorced or finding a new love, being forced to move because you can't afford to stay where you are, or celebrating a new home, having someone you love die, make their transition, or a new baby is born. Whatever the change is that you face, I want you to know that there is a foundation on which you can stand. This is like the greatest gift we can give ourselves, is this foundation. It truly, truly is. So I want to modify that saying that I just gave you a minute ago, the only thing certain about life is change. Instead, the only two things certain about life are change and God. God is changeless. We know this, we hear this. Believe it. God is changeless. Ernest Holmes affirms this concept for many of us many times in all of his writings. So I want to share with you a particular powerful one from A New Design for Living. He writes, "We are all living in a world of continual change, a world in which thought, things, and experiences are in constant flux. It is the very nature of the universe that there should be continual change and variation. It is a living world, the creation of a living, creative intelligence, not a static world. But behind that which changes, behind that which causes change, we have found that there is something stable and changeless, something eternal, upon which all of our external events depend on for their very existence. Behind the endless process of change and the infinite variety of experience and expression, there is that which does not change. When we really know this with all our heart and being, we are fully supported in any situation, any circumstance in life, because God is there for us. We are God. So we are all part of this infinite consciousness, this infinite energy. It is part of who we are. Not part, it is who we are. And the last line of what I just read is so powerful, I want to read it again. Behind the endless process of change and the infinite variety of experience and expression, there is that which does not change. God, the changeless, is in the ever-changing. So in the change that we go through, there is this, it's not even a partnership. It is the truth, the foundation of who we are, the absolute truth of who we are forever, eternally. For when we leave these bodies, that infinite intelligence is still present as us. So yes, change is inevitable, but behind it, there is a solid foundation, which can lead us to the second part of our theme phrase this morning. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. So listen to what Jesus said about a solid foundation. Whoever comes to me and hears my sayings and does nothing is like a man who built a house on the earth without a foundation. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently against the house, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great. But he who hears my words and follows them, like a man building a house and has dug deep and on the foundation of the rock, against which the stream beat vehemently, but could not shake it, for it was founded on the rock. And what did he mean? Hear my words and follow them. Jesus told us over and over again to live a spiritual life, to trust God as our sole support. How many of us can really trust God, the source of all good, as our true support? To seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto us. In other words, to keep our spiritual vision clear. Keep our spiritual vision clear. Don't let all this change and outside influence come in and cause that chaos in our thinking. Someone has to be clear on this planet, and it's us. We need to have clarity. We need to have that clarity of vision. I believe that with every change comes, that when it comes into our lives, it will carry us forward. I know, if we let it, I know that this has been my experiences, and if you look back and really look at some of what you thought were the most horrific changes in your lives, and what you are now, it's amazing. It's always moving forward. I really don't believe we move backward. We move forward. The universe moves forward. We move forward. Every change within it has the opportunity, the possibility, and the probability of good if we will embrace it. And change, as I said, will never carry us backward if we keep our vision clear. Holmes and Science of Mind wrote, nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision. For should we stay here too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too inflexible. Nature demands the change in order that we may advance. When the change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on our lips and a song in our heart. That's Ernest Holmes. Sometimes we don't always have that smile on our lips and that song in our heart. But what are your options? I choose to believe there is a solid spiritual power back, behind me, in me, and through me that will guide me, that will always be there, wrapping itself around me in all changes in everything in life. I do. Let us remember in any change, whatever the magnitude of it is, when one door shuts, as we say, another one opens. When the door closes and locks shut, we have the opportunity, the Spirit of God within us, to find an open door. There's always infinite potential. We live in this field of infinite potentiality. That's where we live. And this is even being proven scientifically. We live in a field of infinite potentiality. That means all things are possible to us right here, right now, all the time. Helen Keller once said, when one door of happiness closes, another opens. But so often, we look so long at that closed door that we do not see the one which is open before us. Yes. We stay stuck in that story of, oh, ain't it awful? Oh, he did this to me. To me. To me. We get rid of that word. Everything is done for us. Everything. Everything in life is done for us. Let me give you an example from Gary Zukav's book, Soul Stories. It's about a person named Jennifer. So, you have not taken a course that is required for your second year, said the dean, frowning across his desk. Fear tightened in Jennifer's stomach. How can that be, she asked. I've taken everything I have been told to take. Maybe so, continued the dean, but you haven't taken a course that you will need for next year. Can I take it together with the other courses being offered? You could, he said, but this course is not taught again until next summer. You will have to, I'm sorry, but you will have to drop out of school until you complete it, so that's a year. After you finish that course next summer, you can begin again. That will be more than a year, she exclaimed. I understand, said the dean, but rules are rules. I hate that. Okay. This is Gary Zukov, not Margaret Palagye. Jennifer tried not to cry when she left the dean's office. All of her energy, money, and focus had gone into becoming a nurse. Her ex-husband didn't think she could do it without him, but she had been admitted to nursing school. She questioned whether she could do it with her young daughter still at home. But she had finished the first year. She had begun a new life for herself. But what could she do now? She went to her advisor's office. Why didn't you tell me about that course? She asked him. I made a mistake, he said, feeling really bad about it. I'm so sorry. Jennifer dropped out of nursing school. A month later, a speeding car hit her aging father, breaking some of his ribs, and changed Jennifer's life forever. Sometimes when she visited him at the hospital, he recognized her, and at other times he did not. Sometimes he saw people at the bottom of his bed who were not there, and other times he didn't see the people who were there. When the hospital could no longer keep him, Jennifer put him in a nursing home. Then they ran out of money because of the insurance money ran out. So Jennifer had to sell his house where she and her daughter lived. Can you imagine all of this happening at the same time? Taking care of her father, finding a nursing home for him, selling a house, working 2 jobs, and taking care of your daughter.
Yes.
Yes, you can, because a lot of us have been through that kind of crap, right? It's a lot. All at the same time. Each of these is a big thing to do. Jennifer did all, and even managed to buy a small house for her and her daughter to live in. By the end of the year, Jennifer had learned to support herself and her daughter, and they lived in their own little house. She returned to school and took the course that she needed when it was offered. And then she enrolled again in the nurses program. By the time her father passed on, she had become a nurse. So that's 1 year span. I've got bumps all over me. Zukov writes, What had seemed unfair to Jennifer at the time, being forced to leave school, now seemed like a blessing. Her advisor's mistake gave her the time she needed to take care of her father and transform her life in the process. If she had known this when she spoke to the dean, she would not have been upset. She would have seen things differently. Your growth comes when you do not allow change in your life to become a closed door. It's not the end. Remember this, if you remember nothing else, remember that you live in a field of limitless potentiality. All of us do. That is the God, that's what we call God. Limitless potentiality. So here's an affirmation for us to use when we face change. I know that only good can come of this. So say that after me. I know that only good can come of this. Truly believe that, no matter what it looks like. Now, so that you just don't think you just said some words in an affirmation, I want you to think of something this morning. Think of something that is occurring right in your life right now. Something that maybe you didn't plan, a change that has occurred, a change that might be on the horizon, a change that you fear might happen. Something real to you. Just think. Everybody have something? Now say to this situation, I know that only good can come of this. Say that. I know that only good can come of this. And if you need something a bit stronger, you can use Emma Curtis Hopkins, one of the strongest spiritual leaders. Her affirmation, which we've used here before, this too is good. This too is God. This too is good. Okay. And we might as well repeat this. This too is for me. This too is for me. And with attitude. Don't say that. And I demand to see the blessing in it. We demand from the universe, because the law is always working, and we demand it right here, right now, to see the blessing in every change that happens in our life. Remember to pause when something is going on and realize who you are, where we are, and to reestablish our connection with this unchanging spiritual reality and the infinite good that is ever available to us. I don't care what the change is. It could seem like there's no solution. There's always a solution. There's nothing in my life that I believe does not have a solution. There's nothing. I do not. Health, finances, relationships, whatever it is, everything has a solution because it comes in with a solution. The infinite, the wisdom in the infinite is beyond anything we can imagine. But that belief will get you through and will reveal what you need to do next. So this morning, I urge you not to resist change, whatever form it takes, but instead give thanks for it. It's a chance to grow and progress. It's always a chance to grow and progress, and really believe that, because it is. I urge you not to be afraid of change, but rather to be ready to make each change a step forward, a new understanding of success, of happiness, of health, of well-being, of abundance, whatever it is. And we can do this because we know that we are supported in this change by that which never changes. Absolutely knowing that. Absolutely. this is Ernest Holmes. I want to close with this reading from Ernest Holmes. There are going to be changes in our lives from hour to hour and day to day, and we cannot escape them. It is the nature of the universe. Let us accept change and make the most of it and capitalize on it. The action of the law never changes, but the direction of the action is up to us. Life can become a glorious adventure, increasingly filled with more of every good thing as we gradually or suddenly come to change our pattern of thinking, so that embracing more and more of those good things. So I urge all of us to build that foundation. Make sure it's really strong. It is the greatest gift you could ever give to yourself, is that foundation. There's one power for good, and that power is for me, and that power is for you as well. And with that, you can conquer any change whatsoever, and move forward, and embrace love, and embrace life. That's getting real with personal transformation. And so it is.